Hey everyone, Michelle here, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my March TBR. And yes, there is another month-long readathon. This month's readathon is GreekGodAthon, hosted by Esme at Paradise of Pages. It's about the Greek gods. Of course, I had to participate. I will get into that readathon, but first I will go into what my buzzword book of the month is for March. So for March, the prompt is to read a book with a place in the title. Now this could be a building, a town, a street name, a country, a place of work. It just has to have a name in the title. And for this one, I have gone for The Sanatorium by Sarah Pierce. Everyone's in danger, anyone could be next. An imposing, isolated hotel high up in the Swiss Alps is the last place Erin Warner wants to be. But she's taken time off from her job as a detective, so when she receives an invitation out of the blue to celebrate her estranged brother's recent engagement, she has no choice but to accept. Arriving in the midst of a threatening storm, Ellen immediately feels on edge. Though it's beautiful, something about the hotel, recently converted from an abandoned sanatorium, makes her nervous, as does her brother Isaac. And when they wake the following morning to discover his fiancée Laure has vanished without a trace, Ellen's unease grows. With the storm cutting off access to and from the hotel, the longer Laure stays missing, the more the remaining guests start to panic. But no one has realised yet that another woman has gone missing, and she's the only one who could have warned them just how much danger they are all in. Now on to GreekGodAthon. Like I said earlier, this is being hosted by Esme at Paradise of Pages. I will link her channel and the announcement video down below so you can go and watch. But in essence, there are 14 Greek gods and there are two teams, Team Chaos and Team Control. And depending on which god you want to pick as your main god, I'll say, depends on which team you are in. And for a water baby like myself, my god is of course Poseidon, or as I have called him ever since I was 14 and did the Percy Jackson quiz to see who your godly parent was, Daddy P. So because my god is Poseidon, my team is Team Chaos. Now, each god in this readathon has abilities that can help you with your TBR. Because there are 7 prompts per team, 1 prompt per god, so each god has its own prompt. Again, I will link the announcement video down below. Esme does such a better job than I am currently doing of explaining this. So, I will go through who is on Team Chaos, because that is my team. Aphrodite, Artemis, Ares, Hades, Hephaestus, Poseidon, and Zeus. Now, as I said before, each god has its own ability that can help you with your TBR and make it a bit harder. For Poseidon, the ability is to use a trident and grab 3 prompts from Team Control to replace 3 in your team. For me, I have chosen not to do Aphrodite, Ares or Zeus's prompt in my first set of 7 prompts. So instead, I will be doing Apollo's, Athena and Hermes. Now, before I go into what these prompts are, again, I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this, so please go watch Esme's video if you are interested. There are points in this readathon. You get 10 points if you fulfill your god's prompt, 5 if you fulfill a god prompt from your team, and 3 if you fulfill a god prompt from the other team. So the 3 prompts I have changed from the other team and taken, I should say, from the other team, I can get 5 points, and then the other 3 go with the other 4 prompts from the team, and I get 3 points per prompt. Again, for the 3rd time, I'm explaining this really badly. Please go watch Esme's video, she's such a better job than I do. Because there are points on offer, once you go through your team's 7 prompts, so Team Chaos for me, you can go read the other prompts from the other team, which is where the 3 points come in per book. After that long-winded, very, very badly explained explanation of this readathon, I'm going to go through the 7 prompts for Team Chaos, or the 7 prompts I am doing for Team Chaos, and the books I'm going to read for them. But the other 7 for Team Control, I'm not going to go through in detail. Like, I'm not going to read you the synopsis. I'm just going to say the god, the prompt, and show you the book, because otherwise I would be here forever. But onto the 7 books I will definitely be reading and their synopsis. So for Artemis, the prompt is to read a book that is highly anticipated, and for this one I have chosen Her Last Holiday by C.L. Taylor. If you watch my channel over the year and a half, I'll say, I think I made it quite obvious that C.L. Taylor is one of my go-to authors, and when I realised her paperback was coming out in February, I got it, obviously pre-order, and I thought I have to read it in March. I read this prompt and was like, that's it. That's how I'm reading it. You come to be healed, you don't expect to die. 2 years ago, Fran's sister Jenna disappeared on a wellness retreat in the Mediterranean that went terribly wrong. Tom Wade, the now infamous man behind Soul Shrink Retreats, has just been released from prison after serving his sentence for the deaths of 2 people. But he has never let on what's happened to the 3rd victim, Jenna. Determined to find out the truth, Fran books herself onto his upcoming retreat, the first since his release, and finds herself face to face with a man who might hold the key to her sister's disappearance. The only question is, will she escape alive, or does someone want Jenna's secrets to stay hidden? For Hades, the prompt is obviously to read a book with the undead, and for this one I'm going to read Harrow the Ninth by Tamsin Muir. Because this is a sequel to Goody the Ninth, I cannot read you the synopsis. I'm just going to say space necromancy with a bit of sapphic chucked in. I don't know how else to explain Goody without spoiling it. For Hephaestus, the prompt is to read a sequel, and for this one I'm going to read what I think everyone has already read on BookTube. House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas, Book 2 in Crescent City. Again, because it is a sequel, I cannot tell you what it says in the synopsis, but in House of Earth and Blood, you follow Bryn, who is half fae, half human, and she deals with a traumatic experience with her friends, and do you know what, it's not a spoiler because I'm pretty sure it says it in the synopsis. If it doesn't, I apologise. Basically, her best friend Danica, who is a wolf, her and her pack are killed, and Bryn is tasked with a fallen angel hunt to try and find her killer. So there is half fae, wolves, fallen angels, obviously full wolves. There is aqua people. It's quite good. Like I said, a lot of people have already read this, Ada included. Ada has said she doesn't think I will like this one because I don't like hype books, and I don't. However, I did pleasantly enjoy House of Earth and Blood, so I'm hoping this will be one of the few hyped books that books a trend for me. For Poseidon, the prompt again is obviously to read a book with water elements, and for this one I have picked The Mercies by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. Before I read the synopsis, how awesome are them stencil edges. I love it. I love it. The storm comes in like a finger snap. Winter 1617. The sea around the remote Norwegian island of Vardø is thrown into a vicious storm. A young woman, Maren, watches as the men of the island, out fishing, perish in an instant. Vardø is now a place of women. 18 months later, a sinister figure arrives. Absalom Corner has been summoned to bring the women of the island to heel. With him travels his young wife, Ursa. In her new home and in Maren, Ursa encounters something she has never seen before: independent women. But where Ursa finds happiness, even love, Absalom seems only a place flooded with a terrible evil, one he must root out at all costs. For Apollo, the prompt is to read a book that makes you happy, and I have picked The Liar by Steve Kavanagh. I know that title doesn't seem like a happy book. The reason I picked it is because this is a series I fell in love with halfway through, because I read the fourth book and then carried on from there. So The Liar is book 3. But the good thing about this series, the Eddie Flynn series, I will say, is you don't have to read them in chronological order. And each synopsis doesn't spoil the last book. So I can read your synopsis. Who is deadlier? Leonard Howell's worst nightmare has come true. His daughter Carolyn has been kidnapped. He can't rely on the cops, so Howell calls the only man he trusts to get her back. The man who knows the truth. Once a con artist and now a hotshot criminal attorney, Eddie Flynn is no stranger to the shady New York underworld, or the one who believes a lie. But Flynn realises that the rules of the game have changed and that he is being played. But who is pulling the strings? And is anyone in this twisted case telling the truth? For Athena, the prompt is to read a book in 2020, and for this one I went to my 22 books to read in 2022 list, closed my eyes, picked one at random, and the one chosen was The Jigsaw Man by Nadine Matheson. I forget the synopsis on the back for this one. There's a serial killer on the loose. When bodies start washing up along the banks of the River Thames, D.I. Henley fears it is a work of Peter Olivier, the notorious jigsaw killer. But it can't be him. Olivier is already behind bars, and Henley was the one to put him there. The race is on before more bodies are found. She'd hoped she'd never have to see his face again, but Henley knows Olivier might be the best chance they have at stopping the copycat killer. But when Olivier learns of the new murders, helping Henley is the last thing on his mind. Will it take a killer to catch a killer? Now all bets are off, and the race is on to catch the killer before the body count rises. But who will get there first? Henley or the jigsaw killer? And for Hermes, the prompt is to read a short book, and for this one I have gone for Saga Volume 6. This is a comic, obviously as it's Volume 6, it is the 6th volume in this series. So again, I can't really say too much in case I spoil it. All I will say is intergalactic Romeo and Juliet, spicy scenes, a love story that you will fall in love with and characters you will fall in love with, and a strange language called Blue, which makes me giggle every time I try and decipher it. So including my buzzword book, this is all the books I definitely plan to read on my TBR in March. They are quite chunky, especially House of Sky and Breath. So yeah, these should take me the full month. But just in case they don't, let's get into the other 7 books I could read for GreekGodAthon. For Aphrodite, the prompt is to read a romance, and for this one I could be reading Hot British Boyfriend by Christy Boyce. For Aries, the prompt is to read a book about war, and for this one I could read The Hand of the Sun King by J.T. Greathouse. For Zeus, the prompt is to read a cover by, and for this one I could read Murder the Biography by Kate Morgan. For Demeter, the prompt is to read a book with nature on the cover, and for this one I could read The Lie Tree by Frances Harding. For Dionysus, the prompt is to read a book that is a guilty pleasure. For this one I'm just going to go into Kindle Unlimited and pick one of the books on there, because I tend to have put my not safe for work books on there, and they're my guilty pleasure. For Hera, the prompt is to read a book with a strong female protagonist, and for this one I could read Law by Alexandra Bracken. And for Hester, the prompt is to read a book that is cosy or heartwarming, and for this one I could read Homestretch by Graham Norton. So there is my TBR for March. Are you participating in GreekGodAthon, and are you on the same team as me, Team Chaos, or are you on Team Control? If you are participating, I would love to see your TBR videos or Bookstagram posts or book blog posts, whichever. Please link them all down below. Have you read any of the books on my TBR? Do you think I could switch them up? Or have I got a book with the wrong prompt? If you did like this video, please give it a like. If you are new to my channel, hi, my name's Michelle. I read a variety of genres, but my favourites are fantasy and crime/thriller/mystery. I don't do what I count here as reviewing because I just think it's blah. But if you are new here and you have liked what you've seen, please consider subscribing. I have a personal goal to reach 50 subscribers this year. If you don't want it, no worries, no pressure. But until next time, bye.